Welcome to the Chlorine King podcast, where your host, Eric Taylor, will discuss tips for the do-it-yourselfer, answer listeners' questions, conduct product reviews, and host special guests from the pool industry. Grab your swimsuits and let's dive in.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you again for tuning in to another great episode of the Chlorine King podcast. Tonight, we're going to dive in and find out if all filter media replacements are the same. Our guest this evening is 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭, and she's a vice president of Unicel, who manufactures OEM filter media replacements right here in the U.S. Before we talk with Christine, though, let's take care of one of our listeners. Cheryl sent in a question and asked, what is the most important chemical to maintain for your pool? Well, Cheryl, honestly, I can't recommend only one chemical is the most important, as the main 5 chemicals are all equally important. Your chlorine, your pH, your alkalinity, calcium hardness, and stabilizer are all equally important in their own way and should all be in range. If not, some can affect other chemicals and how they work. For instance, your chlorine or your sanitizer level is what keeps your algae and harmful bacteria out of the water. Essentially, it's what makes your pool safe to swim in. Your pH not only affects how comfortable in the water you are, but also affects the effectiveness of the chlorine in your water. Alkalinity is your pH buffer, so if that's not in range, it can affect your pH, which then affects the effectiveness of your sanitizer. So you can see how these chemicals are playing a part with one another. Calcium hardness has a lot more to do with your pool surface than your swimmers. If it's not in range and it's on the low side, it can pull calcium out of your plaster and damage your surface by things like etching and other various issues. If it's on the high side, then it can cause calcium scale, which can cause discomfort or injury to your swimmers if scraped up against while swimming. Your stabilizer reading is very important, because if that's low, then it can't protect the chlorine that's in your water and the sun will burn it off pretty quickly. Alternatively, if it's high, then you need a lot more chlorine to keep your pool healthy. So I would change my thought process from which is most important to I must keep all of them in range to protect my pool and my swimmers. So thank you so much for your question, Cheryl. If you listeners have a question, please don't hesitate to reach out and I will get to them, I promise you. So let's go ahead and talk with our guest. Well, I'm excited to have on the line Christine Schaefer, the Vice President of Unicel. How are you doing today, Christine?
Good, Eric. How's it going?
Good. I'm so glad it's the weekend. I'm ready to kick back and relax. What about yourself?
Right. Well, actually, we're hosting the NBA All-Star here this weekend, so I'm excited about that in my town.
Wow.
So, yeah, I can't wait to kick it off tonight.
Yeah, I wish I could go with you.
Right?
So anyways, we're just going to ask you a few questions, but before we do, let's have you introduce yourself and how you got in the business and how you ended up at Vice President of Unicel.
Sure. Actually, I was born into this industry. My father started Meister Manufacturing, which is the company that developed the Unicel brand in the 1950s, and my mother has actually worked here for more than 50 years. We still have her running our production as we speak. As a kid, I worked on the production line, and then over the years it's kind of evolved into taking on various roles, and for now I've settled in as quote-unquote vice president, and I'm responsible for administration and sales efforts. But I'm just one of what's now 3 generations of Meissners here, and we continue. We're the only one left that's manufacturing solely in the USA. So very proud of that, and very proud of my family's legacy.
That's great. You don't find too many lifers here in the industry, it seems like. So, and it sounds like I'm talking to the right source for filters, because you guys manufacture everything here. So that's great. I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah, we think so. Actually, my father, Dick Meissner, is really one of the pioneers of our industry, and so again, I'm very proud of being able to represent and to be able to still do this here in the USA, because I think it's an important part of the value that we add.
I agree. I love supporting any U.S. company, just because we need to support ourselves, and I think that's great. You guys still stick it out here.
We appreciate that, and we're always very grateful for the support that we continue to get. For staying domestic.
Yeah, I think that's great. So let's go and ask some questions now. For the people that aren't familiar with how the pool system works, can you give us a brief explanation of how a pool filter works and what it does for the swimming pool, and also why it's very important?
Well, the filter system the cartridge or the grid inside of it is only one part of the entire filter system. And why that's on the pool is that it removes debris that collects in the pool before it gets to the pump. Obviously, if you didn't have the filter system and all the the twigs and the stuff from the pool got into the pump, they wouldn't be working very effectively and they'd be very short-lived. So that's what the filter system actually, the purpose is. I think what also is important, though, is what the filter system does not do, and that is it does not sanitize or treat the water. And so that's the role of the chemicals and the other things that you guys do as service professionals, is you make sure that that's right. So our stuff is just taking out debris and not doing any of those other things.
Yeah, exactly. That is a big misconception because people do think it is what treats the pool, like it's a chemical dispenser or something. And I said, no, it's a similar thing to your oil filter. It keeps the oil clean.
Exactly. Before the oil can go into the system and move the parts. So exactly, it's exactly that.
Yeah, so, what type of filters does Unicel make? Is it only cartridges? Is it only DE grids? Like, what do you guys make?
Well, in our industry, there's three types of filter systems, and they're based on actually what does the filtering. So there's sand, which people consider to be the natural filtration. It's different gradients of sand catch different sizes of debris. Then there's a DE, or a diatomaceous earth filter, which has diatoms, which are actually fossilized sea creatures. And it's actually the diatoms which appear to be they're down into a white powder. We're all familiar with that in the pool for the pools, and that's actually doing the filtration. And then the third type is the cartridge filter, which is the filter medium is the fabric itself. So for the DE grids, there's a frame that actually holds up the DE, so to speak. When you turn on the pump, turn on the system, the DE powder spreads up across these grid frames, so which are covered with fabric. So we make DE grids, and we also make the filter cartridges. We don't do anything in the sand space.
I got you. Now, listener, she brought up a very important point that I oftentimes explain to my clients, and that is it's not the grids that actually do the filtering, it's the powder that adheres to the grids. So every time you go to backwash or clean out the DE filter, you have to recharge it with fresh powder, or that's not going to be filtering your water.
Absolutely correct. And the key to the grid that I make is you want to make sure that fabric, first of all, is taut, so there's not a lot of flutter for the efficiency of the system, but also that fabric that you're using lets the water go through, but not the DE. And I think those are important differences or things to notice about different types of grids.
So how does the Unicel differ from the competition? I mean, I service a bunch of filters on my route and they all look the same. Does that mean they are the same, and do they work the same?
I mean, I agree with you, Eric, that they do look similar. They're usually a white in color. To the non-discriminating eye, the fabric looks roughly the same. Sometimes it's heavier or not, but by and large, it all looks the same. But I think what's important, what sets us apart, is that we use 𝐟𝐸𝐪 brand filter materials. And 𝐟𝐸𝐪 is 100% spun bonded about polyester, and actually we developed that material with a company called DuPont. And what the project was at that time was to replace what was really paper-based materials that didn't really fare well in the swimming pool environment. They clogged too quickly, or they had a propensity for mildew, which obviously wouldn't be good for that environment. So they put together this fabric that needed for this purpose, and we have actually stuck with that. We haven't deviated from 𝐟𝐸𝐪 in the history of our company. And actually, some other OEMs, for example, some of the big players have moved away, but they've actually all moved back. So we're all kind of on the same page with the 𝐟𝐸𝐪 fabric again, the big OEMs and Unicel.
That's awesome. So, I mean, a service company or even a consumer can go and buy a Unicel product and know they're getting the same quality they bought with the filter originally.
Exactly.
That's great. So now I know we talked when last time we met about the way that the pleats are bonded, which to me, what you talked about was huge in as far as the filtration and the quality of your guys' elements versus the way others are manufactured. Can you explain that process?
I'm glad it was so compelling to you too, Eric, because it really is important, and that is the non-𝐟𝐸𝐪 alternatives in terms of how the fabric is bonded, how the fibers are bonded together in that fabric. And one of the alternatives in the market right now, and has been over the last few years, is what they refer to as point bonded or needle finished. And the basic problem with this product is that the finish is such that the bond points in the material are fused closed. So if you look at this material closely, you see a bunch of little dots. Mm-hmm. Well, every one of those dots that you see is actually closed. It's fused shut, so you get no water to flow through. So it's effectively not filtration area. This can even be about 25% of the total sheet of paper or the sheet of fabric.
Wow.
If I can give you a visual, if you think about a quad filter and there's only 3 cartridges in it, that's all the filtration area you have. So you're losing one of those 4 because of those bond points, and I think that's really compelling.
It's very compelling. So that just shows you that not every cartridge is produced the same way. So that's props up to Unicel for sure.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, we're very proud of what we put together, again, 30 years ago. We stayed the course, and it's really proven to be very, very effective for our industry.
That's great. So leading up to my next question, I clean my filters, as long as there's no glaring, things sticking out to me that needs to be cleaned sooner. I clean mine generally once every month. Now, I know some can go longer while others are screaming, to be cleaned. But when do you guys recommend it should be cleaned? I've heard anywhere from several times a week to once every 6 months. And lastly, when should they be replaced?
Well, I think what you said about a routine, every month you do that, I think is excellent. That way you know it's not going to be out of sight. On the other hand, it's exactly what you said too with respect to different issues, to where you see that the pool is dirtier than normal because there was just a windstorm and there's pieces of a tree in there, So it's also kind of a gut feeling about needing it to be cleaned. What we suggest is we take a look at differential pressure on the tank. So when you put in a new cartridge or one that's been newly cleaned, you kind of want to mark or note somehow the differential pressure, and then when the next time you check it and when it's up to 8 to 10 pounds higher pressure, that would be a time that would indicate it's time to clean it. Mm-hmm. Now that said, again, every month, but sometimes it might be less. I would say probably weekly. If the differential pressure starts high and doesn't change, or there's other issues like that, it's probably time to change your cartridge. So when is it time? Low water flow, low differential pressure, the shorter cycle times. You're putting it in and it's blowing up in a day or two. You think it's time for a new filter. Also, any kind of catastrophic failure, for example, torn fabric. So those are kind of the triggers for cartridge replacement. I get a lot of people that want a hard and fast rule about it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes.
And I think there really isn't one. I think it's so much contingent on your environment, on your bather load, how well you clean them. In general, I think water is enough, but if you have a lot of body oils and stuff, you should really use a filter cleaner or enzymes to kind of to degrease it, if you like, for lack of a better term. And I think that's important. Sometimes we're used to using, for example, acid washing grids to get the DE powder off. Mm-hmm. And if we acid wash a cartridge, if it's not sufficiently diluted, you're going to actually fuse the body oils to the fabric, and now you have a dead cartridge. So I think that's important too.
That's a good point that I try to explain to people. They're like, well, how do you know it's time to replace a cartridge? I'll say, well, when I first replaced this cartridge about a year ago, it was at 10 pounds, for instance. And now every time I clean it, it's up to 20 as a starting pressure. That's that differential that you're talking about.
Yeah, that's been our hard, fast rule for quite a while. Decades, I would say. But it does tend to do the job.
Yeah, absolutely. So, say a client wants to replace a filter element with Unicel, how do they go about finding the right replacement? Is it as simple as just dragging the filter to the store, or do you guys have a simpler way?
I mean, you could drag it to the store, and I'm sure, the experienced counter guy would probably be able to identify it for you. But to do it yourself, first of all, I just want to say that if it is a Unicel, you'll have the end cap. In the end cap will be the part number, so that's a no-brainer right there. But if it's another manufacturer's or the OEM in the installation, so then we have a few tools that you can use to identify based on the dimensions of the cartridge. So how long it is, the ID, the OD, any kind of ornaments on the end, and then the number of pleats. And with that, you can go to our replacement guide, which for some people they consider the Bible of the industry, to cross-reference to the Unicel number and to corroborate the OEM information. We publish these every year as a hard copy. We've actually moved on to doing some of them on thumb drives now as an alternative. I think you picked one up at the show when you were there.
Yes.
And then you can download it in PDF format from our website. We also have an app. Currently in redesign to be Android compatible, which should be out in the next month or two. But there, it's really easy. You put in the parameters, and it'll spit out the ones that match it. Similarly, on our website, we have a replacement search engine that can better identify for you rather than thumbing through or the PDF or the hard copy of the replacement guide. And if all else failed, of course, you can contact Christy or Angela in our customer service department, and they'll be glad to help you identify it. They do that all day long. So,
well, that's great. Now, everyone loves tech, so is that app available to just anyone, or is it just service professionals?
App is available for anyone to download, yeah.
All right, so that's all the questions I have for you, Christine. But before we sign off, why don't you let people know where they can find your product and how they can contact you?
A great touch point for us would be our website, www.unicelfilters.com. There you can get our contact information. We also have some great FAQs on there, and then even databases of servicemen and retailers are up there. So, and then there's information on how to download our app and other things like that. So that's a great place, a great touch point. Also, again, like I mentioned, to call our customer service, and they can direct you to any of those places as well.
Great, and what's that number?
800-345-6650.
Perfect, Christine. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on the show, and I really look forward to talking to you in the future.
I appreciate your time, Eric. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. You have a great evening. And enjoy the
Thanks,
NBA show.
Will do. Thanks.
All right, take care. Christine really shared a lot of great information tonight. Don't you agree? I remember our first conversations about her cartridges, and she talked a lot about her bonding method and how it makes sure the way they do it doesn't affect the filtration and that it's 100% efficient. Others, the way they manufacture the pleats and bond them together, can lose up to 25%. That's huge. She also gave some great tips about how and when to maintain your filter to keep it working great and for as long as possible. I'm personally a fan of how Unicel makes all the products right here in the US. That says a lot about a company these days, and I appreciate that they do this. They also use the best materials to give you the best filter media replacements produced at OEM specs. You can't beat it. I truly enjoyed our conversation, and I'm looking forward to speaking with her more in the future. Thanks again for tuning in, and remember, stay safe and enjoy your pool.
That's all for tonight, and thanks for tuning in. Please send any comments or ideas, how-to and guest appearance requests, and product review suggestions to eric@chlorinekingpools.com. Remember, if life piddles in your pool of dreams, just add some chlorine and keep swimming. See you next time.